Hi everybody, Game Cooker US Rocks VR here. How's everybody doing today? I'll just try to get right into things here. I'm not feeling too well today though, I want to say that. I had woke up with a nasty migraine, had to pop some medicine, and I'm a little groggy, so I'll do my best to try to be coherent. But I wanted to get this done today. I was trying to do it yesterday, but the way I did it, it just didn't work out. So I'm just going to try to do it this way live so that whatever, you guys can just look at it and follow me along here or whatever the case is. So NVIDIA released drivers recently for support for ray tracing for GTX cards. I think it goes all the way back to the 970, but I'm not sure. But definitely the 10 series cards and the 1660 Ti, I believe, will work with it. I'm not sure about the 1660. I didn't read into it that much, but anyway, I wouldn't use it anyway on that kind of a card. But that's just my opinion. Maybe the 1660 it does work for. Now I tried to use it on my laptop, which is where I'm recording this from. That has a GTX 1060 in it, and for some reason, it's not letting me play the games with ray tracing enabled. It's just kind of like, grayed out in the game settings. I can't select it. Now, that is a GTX 1066 gigabyte dedicated graphics in the laptop. It's a gaming laptop, so I'm not sure if maybe it's detecting it's a laptop and there isn't enough RAM or something. I don't know. It's like it's got 6 gigs of GPU VRAM, but then it's like sharing still another 3 gigs for some reason. I don't know why it does that. And it's kind of hard to like change settings with the proprietary because the BIOS is very limited. But anyway, I'm just going to go through 2 games today with ray tracing because that's all I have. Hey, what's up, Average Hunter? I'll get started here real quick so I don't make you wait. So I'm gonna show you Shadow of the Tomb Raider with ray tracing on, and I'm gonna try to do Metro with ray tracing on with the GTX 1070 and the GTX 1080. Now, I did play around with this yesterday, so I kind of already know what the outcome's going to be for the most part. I highly recommend that you overclock your video cards if you have a GTX 10 series, because even though it doesn't increase performance by a ton, every frame rate, every FPS that you can go up is going to definitely make this experience better. And it's not hard to overclock now. You just download any of the apps that will just let you put the sliders in. I'm going to show you how I have mine overclocked here before we get started, so you can kind of see what my settings are here when it comes to overclocking the video cards. I saw the most benefit maybe in the 1080, but anyway, here's the 1070 here. I'm using the EVGA Precision 1, which is a nice program, but it's kind of just big and clunky. Now, why is everything reversed? Do you guys see things in reverse? Boy, it looks reversed for me. That's really strange. That's a little weird. Anyway, sorry if it's in reverse, because right for me it's in reverse. Maybe for you guys it's not in reverse. I'm doing all right, Average. I had a migraine earlier. I had to pop some pills. Anyway, here's how I have the. Can you hear me? Enough. Okay, cool. All right, so anyway, let's just get this going because it's going to take a while to get all this done. So this is the GTX 1070, which maybe you can't see because this thing doesn't want to focus. I have the memory clocked up plus 600. I have the GPU clocked up plus 65, the voltage up to 17, and the power targets turned all the way up here, which really doesn't give you much. I think it gives you an extra 5. Big deal. All right, and then of course, here's the GPU-Z, so you can see the actual clock speeds. If I can get this thing a little closer for you. The GPU clock is 1653, the memory is up to 2124, and the boost is 1843, but it always goes higher than that. I have it up to 271.9 gigabits per second on the memory bandwidth, and the texture fill rate's up to 221.2 gigatexels. So, it's beefed up a little bit just from overclocking. All right, so that's 1070. I'll show you the stats for the 1080 when I get to that. So let's go ahead and get this started. We're going to see if we can do ray tracing in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. All right, let me see. I don't know the best place to put this. No place is going to be a good place, really. Oh. Let's see if we can do this. It's kind of weird because it's backwards for me. You know what I mean? It's just really strange. All right, so so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through just the ray tracing. You can't do DLSS because there's no tensor cores to do the DLSS, so you can only kind of mess around with the ray tracing. So you're not going to get any kind of performance benefit from the DLSS. So this is just basically, the battle to get the ray tracing done. The card's going to be working, I'll tell you. I don't know if you're really going to see the detail either, being that, I'm using a camera to take a picture of the screen here, and my camera just does not want to focus. I don't know why. And this thing is just really strange. I mean, I can get closer here, I guess. I want you to see the frames per second at the top, though. All right, so let's go ahead and play. So I'm going to do ray tracing. I'm going to do it at ultra, high, and medium. I'm not going to bother with low. And we're going to do some tweaking. And then I'm going to try it with VSync, because when I did the GTX 1070 yesterday, man, it was really like choppy. So I don't think anyone would want to even try to play. And you couldn't really even appreciate the ray tracing because it was so choppy. So that's the thing with it. So so here's the settings. I have it on low right now. I have to put the graphics back up. Now this is a 4K TV. So with a GTX 1070, don't even bother do 1440. I mean, it's not even worth it. So I'm going to put everything up now to the highest. I'm going to keep it, whatever it recommends at the highest. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this ambient occlusion down to BTAO just to give it a little extra oomph. And I'm going to turn ray tracing on ultra. All right, so I'm just, again, highest settings, change this to BTAO, this thing here, and then ray tracing on ultra. And then I'm going to keep screen space contact shadows on normal and screen space reflections on. Pure hair, you can turn that on low because that's not really our focus right now. Tessellation, okay, so we're ready to go. 1920 by 1080. All right, so we're going to run the benchmark and see what kind of frame rates we get here. I can already tell you it's not going to be anything to write home about, but it's still interesting to see it run. So you can see it for yourself. Hey, Average, are you still there, bud? Let me see if I can see this here on my phone. Is the video backwards to you? Or does it look normal to you? I'm assuming it probably looks normal. Okay, good. So yeah, so it's reversed for me as if I'm as if I'm looking on the opposite side, which is like a mirror. It's very strange. All right, good. So it looks like it's working on my phone. And that's pretty good. It's pretty live. All right, so as you can see here, or not, it's 30 frames per second right here in the beginning. You know, the quality is not as crisp as the RTX cards because I think just in general they have a better quality overall when it comes to color. But this is running ray tracing on Ultra. So, you know, again, I'm just showing that it is possible. That NVIDIA is not lying. So even you, average, you can check out ray tracing just to see what it looks like. And again, right now it's on ultra, so the frame rates are just taking a real big dump. But I'm going to show you something. I'm going to turn on VSync and show you that you can get it a little bit smoother if you turn on VSync. Now, of course, you're not going to have like super high frame rates or anything like that, but you know, if you want to really like kind of check out the ray tracing in general and where you can see it happening, you know, VSync can probably help you at least do that a little bit better. Out here, you know, you can see you're getting 90 frames per second because there probably really isn't much ray tracing going on until you get down here by the town. But, you know, a GTX 1070, it's actually doing much better than I expected, to be honest with you. And I wish that they had a more, like, you know, better stats to put on the screen rather than just the frames per second. Because, you know, I do have the frame FPS counter I can put on the screen, but that thing just is such an eyesore. So here it's 16 frames per second. Again, for a game like this, I'm still surprised it even runs at ultra with ray tracing. And the sweet spot really for the GTX 1070 is going to be medium settings with everything turned up. So with ray tracing on, you can see here you get 31 frames per second average, but of course that includes the outside. You know, here the minimum was 13. That was in the forest, I guess, and then average is 32. You know, so you were getting about 30, 25 to 30 frames in the courtyard scene. All right, so here we're going to change some things. We're going to put this down to high. I'm going to turn the depth of field down. I probably should have turned that down before. So I'm going to turn it down to high, and we're just going to see what we get there. Run it through again. Again at 1920 by 1080. Then we'll go ahead and run it in here. You know, just changing it to high, and then turn the depth of field down a little bit. I don't really know if that really tanks the performance or not. So here you can see the shadows are, doing what they're supposed to do where the dance floor is. Getting about 32 frames per second, 38, a little bit better than before. It's all right, average. Thanks for stopping by anyway. Again, I'm just showing this to prove that it works. Because, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of negativity around it. Oh, you can't even play it at good frame rates, blah, 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 all that stupid stuff. It's like, who cares? It's like developers that have old cards, like 10 series cards, and they don't want to buy the new RTX stuff. Well, they can go ahead and use this now, I assume. So the forest is the worst area. It's always going to be, you know, really choppy there. I got such a big TV. Actually, I like my LG TV better than the Samsung when it comes to gaming. It looks really good. Can you recommend a game? Sure. What do you mean? For ray tracing? So Nvidia's got ray tracing enabled for, you know, the masses. Now I wonder if AMD is going to release a driver to be able to use their cards in these games that support ray tracing. I mean, they're going to have to kind of answer to this, in some way, shape, or form. I mean, unless they already have a driver released that allows them to play these games in ray tracing, I don't know for sure. All right, man. Have a good day. And good luck in the tournament, man. I hope it turns out good. All right, so the average the average here is 36, so it's definitely a little bit better than before. And by the way, I'm using a i7 7700K, which of course is not as beefy as your 8-core processors. Right here, I don't know if you can see it clearly or not. It doesn't really look clear on my screen. I don't know why it's just not clear. It's just freaking ridiculous. I don't know. This camera, it's got the focus, but it just doesn't want to focus when it comes to monitors. So I apologize for that. I just don't have any autofocus on this thing. I mean, it has a focus, but it just doesn't want to focus any better. All right, so let's go back again and change some things here. Let me go back in again. So we'll turn this down to medium. Okay. Ray tracing to medium, and then I'm going to turn this stuff up to like level detail on ultra, screen space shadows on high. Okay. And then I'll turn this 8 times anisotropic up to 16, and we'll see if that is like the 1070 sweet spot. You can do the NVIDIA thing here since you got an NVIDIA card, but let's just try it on medium first and see how much more the frame rates go up. So here we go. Ray trace medium, everything up on ultra. And again, sorry about it not being clear. This is the only camera that I have available right now to use. So here we got upper 30s to start. This thing is annoying being that it's in reverse. We're up to 55 here, so it's a little better. And actually, the picture does look better. And it looks like the shadowing is proper at the dance floor there. You can't see that because you don't have it. TV's so big. But we're at 47, 48, 49. Definitely better. It's just not as defined when you have it down the medium. That's the only problem. So it's kind of like, you're getting like a generic, kind of a generic version of ray tracing. So, again, I don't know if it's really like, what is it worth it to even bother at medium settings? I'll try the ambient occlusion or whatever it's called um, with the NVIDIA setting turned on. But there you go, frames per second, 80 something there. That was pretty surprising. 136 frames per second there. That's not bad. 130. I might even try 1440 at medium. We should see what that looks like. Now that might be a way to take advantage of having it look a little better. If your monitor will handle 1440, that might crisp up the picture a little bit. So again, I guess for indie developers, if they want to implement ray tracing in their games, and probably for a lot of the indie games, since they're not as like, you know, um, AAA quality, if that's how you want to, if that's what you want to say, they're not quite AAA quality. Boy, this is really like not clear, is it? Good grief! It's only recording at 720. Okay, so the frames per second went way up there. Look at that, 69. All right, so that was a major bump. Okay, so let's see if we can kick this up to 1440. Keep the same settings on, keep the same settings that we have here on medium. And let's go ahead and kick it on 1440 and see how much of a hit that takes. Because this is a 4K monitor I have here, or yeah, TV, so I can do that. And then let's put on VSync. Let's just turn VSync on and see if we can get it kind of smooth, because it's going to be choppy most likely. And you could turn down the anti-aliasing too. But I'll keep it on TAA. That's probably better. All right, so we're at 1440 now. GTX 1070 at medium ray tracing. Everything turned up to ultra and high. And I'm going to turn down this anisotropic down to 8 and then turn the NVIDIA. Well, I'm going to keep it on BTAO because, you know, I don't know, AMD cards, but they're not really supported now. Yeah, let's turn on the NVIDIA ambient occlusion. So 1440, ray trace medium, HBAO plus, texture ultra, level of detail ultra. And people that have 1080p monitors, you can kind of bump your graphics up to 1440 if you want. If you got a newer 1080p monitor, you should be able to play it at 1440, even though your monitor, that's not the native. You can force it. So let's run this medium 1440 GTX 1070 with VSync on, because it's definitely going to need it. All right, so let's just turn this down a little bit. And that'll be it. And then I'll move on to the GTX 1080 over here on my other monitor. So it's 22. Yeah, so it's not... well, it's going to use VSync, so it's probably going to go to the best frame rate possible. So not bad, though. 1440, it's running. Phew. I'm surprised. 30 frames right here. And it looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So here, 30 frames locked. So VSync might be something beneficial for ray tracing on these older cards. I mean, it's stuck at 3031. That's pretty amazing. And everything looks pretty good. Now, I don't know how it's going to be when you're playing the actual game, but I mean, I guess I could go ahead and just try to run around in the game and see how it appears. Again, I'm not doing this because I'm a tech genius or anything. I'm just trying to share my experience with it in case anybody's curious. It is getting a little choppy there still. That's pretty low, but it's keeping it constant, which is actually better than it jerking all over the place. And if you appreciate this, please like and subscribe, you know. Just so other people can kind of know about it too. I always like showing proof, you know, that I'm actually doing it rather than people just take my word for it. Okay, so at 1440, it's still doing 28 frames per second. I mean, that's not really that bad. I mean, I'm really surprised. Just apologize. I can't get it to get much clearer than that. 28 frames per second. The lowest was 19. Um, average down the bottom here is 39. Um, so I'm wondering if I should go ahead back to 1080 one more, just do one more at 1080 and try to do the VSync and maybe bump up those settings. So let's go back to 1080. I'll keep this at 8 times anisotropic and anisotropic. Put the ray tracing on high. And what we'll do is we'll turn the texture down to high and level of detail to high. Keep the VSync on and see if we can get some fairly smooth frame rates at a high ray tracing shadow quality. Depth of field, I'll just wonder if I should just turn that off. Let me look at that real quick. I don't know if that really makes it take a big of a hit, you know. It says here, simulates camera effect. We know what that is. Normal mode reserves this effect mainly for cinematics, while high mode sets it foreground objects to appear out of focus. Oh, okay, so it doesn't really matter. Once you turn it down to normal, it's not really going to change anything. All right, so good. So we're going to do 1080p, VSync on, high texture, 8 times anisotropic, ray trace shadowing on high, the NVIDIA ambient occlusion, depth of field normal, level detail high, screen space reflections on, which you want, and screen space contact shadows, which are on high, which makes it more better shadow accuracy. All right, so let's see. This will be the last one, and then we're going to move on to the GTX 1080. So VSync might be highly beneficial when doing ray tracing if we can get a decent frame rate, steady frame rate. So we're at 2930. Fairly smooth, you know. It's not perfect, obviously, at 30 frames, but it's definitely, you know, you could play the game at 30 frames per second. I mean, that's definitely doable. I mean, we all did it for how many years? And the game does look a little better. The light's different. You know, it's definitely got some better quality, like the kid there with the little sparkler. I wish they would have used that scene a lot longer. And this scene too, rather than wasted it on the outdoor environment, which to me is just a total waste to put in the benchmark. So this is definitely tanking here, 19 frames per second. Yeah, high just might be a little too much, even with VSync. I was kind of hoping about 25 out here, but just not going to happen. Yeah, medium is a sweet spot. Play it at medium, turn everything up, put VSync on. That's going to be your best experience. I mean, the NVIDIA occlusion might be something that's making the frame rates worse. You know. Yeah, so I said I was going to go to the GTX 1080 after this. I'm wondering if I should do Metro. Maybe I'll just compare these two games first. So 30 frames per second. Yeah, high is too much. You know, it's like one of those things like what's more important, shadows or texture quality. You know, when you turn on shadows in a game, even if the quality of the textures is lower, the overall game looks better, you know, in some respects, because the shadowing just kind of like helps to make everything stand out, you know. The problem with this game is that there's too many rasterization going on with the ray tracing, and I think that just takes away from it. You know, the baked in shadows are there, and it just kind of throws you off because you're going, well, why is that shadow acting like that and this one's acting like that? So 25 frames per second. So shall we put the ray tracing up to ultra and turn everything down to normal and see how that looks? Why not? So we're going to do texture quality normal, 8 times anisotropic, ray trace ultra, ambient down to the BTAO, because that's the only, you can put it off, but I don't know how that's going to affect the ray tracing. Depth of field off, doesn't really matter though. Level normal, level of detail, tessellation, screen space reflections on, contact shadows normal. All right, let's just run it this way and see what happens. Probably isn't going to help much. I don't know. I just like to try everything. And I don't know if you guys can even see this. I mean, it's like, I can't even watch it in 720 right now. The stream is way behind too. So this doesn't look too bad. It actually looks pretty good still, running at 30 frames. Huh. So I guess it depends. Like, look at the shadow, the ray tracing is working. You know, the picture isn't as crisp, I guess, as ultra high textures. But, you know, the ray trace shadows are looking pretty nice. I hope you were able to see the frame counter there. Yeah, okay, you were. So again, here we're probably going to tank. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty rough in this forest, man. Yeah, that's really where it kills it. There's just too much ray tracing going on here. Yeah, so I guess with the 1070, there's no way you're gonna be able to run it at ultra. You have to go with the medium ray tracing with everything turned up. That's the best spot. Tis the best. Personally, I like the idea of ray trace shadows. You know, I'm a graphic file, and you know, I don't know the ins and outs of all the technical things that go on, but you know, I know a little bit. You know, if something can look more like the real world, then I'm all for it. I know everybody's kind of used to like the baked in shadows, and that's what looks nice to everybody. I mean, it looks nice to me too. But you know, back to what I was talking about with the indie developers, since their games are not like AAA quality and they're not like super high graphically intensive, you know, as far as like working the video card, they might be able to kind of use ray trace shadowing to benefit their games to make them look a little more, you know, um, better, you know, increase the graphic fidelity in their games, you know, because they're not, you know, using a lot of GPU resources anyway. So in their case, they can put those CUDA cores to work, and make their games look that much better without having to have spend a lot of time baking stuff in. Yeah, 23, so it's actually worse. Go figure. Yep, so medium, that's going to be it. Put everything up to highest, and then just turn the ray tracing to medium. And you can put the contact shadows up on high. And yeah, just pretty much these settings right here, if you can see them. They're not blurry. So medium, everything else on high. And texture quality you can put on ultra. So that would be the best setting for a Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 1080p. 1440, I'd do medium with everything on just high and try that out first, and with 8 times anisotropic. But 1080, VSync on, everything on medium. All right, so that's it for that. GTX 1070, definitely doable. So now we're going to move over here to the GTX 1080 and see how that compares. I'll show you the how I have it overclocked. So let's move the camera over here. And I should be able to get a full screen here, I think, because this is a 32-inch monitor rather than a 55-inch TV. All right, so I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll turn this so you can kind of see it a little better here. I can't put the thing down any further. Oh yeah, I can. There we go. I got the light glaring on the screen here, I think. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. All right, so this is the GTX 1080. Again, I don't know if you can actually see that. Hopefully. That's why I like recording stuff and posting it. All right, so I'll just put it closer here so we can see. So here's how I have it on the, this is a GTX 1080 Strix Edition, as you can see up here. So I have the GPU clocked up plus 100, the voltage plus 10, and the memory 260. And the power target actually was able to put this up pretty good, plus 20 right here. So, but the problem with this is I didn't play around with it a lot, but I was using the 3D Mark stress test to just trying to make sure it was stable. And, this is the first one I got stable, so I just kept it like this. And then, of course, you can probably see that, maybe. And again, sorry, because there's a glare from the light. But here you can see the GPU clock is at 1771. I don't know why this memory is so low. It says it's only clocked up to 1284, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But the boost clock is at 1910. And I have 328.7 gigabits per second. on the memory bandwidth and 305 gigatexels per second on the texture fill rate. I just try to get those numbers up high. I don't really know what the pixel fill rate is good for, but I imagine that's for refresh rates maybe. So I probably could clock the memory up higher, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now. And then let's see if we can get Shadow of the Tomb Raider running at a decent frame rate on the 1060. How does that sound? Alright, so let's fire up Shadow of the Tomb Raider here. I can't see my mouse. Yeah, I don't know why this camera's old. I think it's just not working anymore with the focus. Unless it's dirty. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just have... the sensor is just dirty. Maybe. That might have been reason why. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so it's a little better. Alright, so we're just going to basically do the same thing we did with the 1070. Be nice if some people were on so we could chat, but... so, what are your thoughts on NVIDIA? I mean, there's a lot of, trash talk out there against NVIDIA and Intel. I just think it's really not a good reason. That's just my opinion. So right now I'm going to turn everything up except for that ambient occlusion. Depth of field on normal. Level of detail ultra. Bloom off, motion blur off. Screen space contact shadows on high. Pure hair. I don't really think that matters. We're going to try it. We're going to do both on this one, 1440 and 1080. We'll start off with VSync off. Now this monitor is 144 hertz. It is capable of going higher. And I do have the G-Sync on. So I don't know if that's going to make it smoother. Right, so I think we're good here. So let's get right to this. 1080p, everything's up except for the ambient occlusion. So let's run this baby and see how it runs on Ray Trace Shadow on Ultra with everything all the way up. Personally, I'm happy with what NVIDIA's doing. I don't think that they released the RTX cards prematurely. I think they released them when they had to release them. They were done with the technology. They got it to the best that they were going to get it to at this point in time. They had video cards that were capable of doing it in real time. And releasing it early, they were able to, kind of get the drivers going, to a certain point, where they could, hash out any problems they might have. So here we're at 37 frames per second. 42, 45. That's not bad, man. That's on Ultra, 1080p. Everything's up. So we'll see how the forest is, because that's really the thing that's going to determine, what setting you're probably going to want to play on. But this is good. This looks really nice. 45 frames per second. It's not choppy. Here we got, let's see, how low is it going to go? 28 frames per second, 26 frames per second, 23. Man, if it was just in the upper 20s, you could probably say, well, I could tolerate it with VSync on. Yeah, lower 20s just is not going to cut the mustard. So I think we'll have to turn it down to high. But again, I think NVIDIA did the right thing. I think that, I'm happy that they're innovating. I'm happy that they're pushing graphics forward. I'm happy that they released the RTX cards. They didn't just like add a feature to Pascal. They gave us Turing as well. So we did get a performance boost from the last generation. But we also got these features put on the cards for people who want to use them. They did release the 1660 Ti, which is a great performer, you know. So, the people that are using 1080p monitors, man, that's a great card. And if you don't want the RTX, well, there you go. So there's really nothing to complain about. NVIDIA kind of did the right things, I think. They released the 2080. Some people think it's priced too high, but I don't think so because, when you have research and development, you got to make your money back. I mean, that's just the way business works. You can't just. AMD really didn't do anything extraordinary, in my opinion, with their last generation of video cards. I was not impressed. They still ran hot. They were still underperforming. I don't know. I just wasn't impressed. I mean, that's all. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Sorry I didn't see you, buddy. So NVIDIA just released their drivers to support for their GTX cards to support ray tracing. So that's what I'm kind of proving right now. So we're at 41 frames per second on ultra ray tracing with everything else turned up to ultra. So, but it still isn't going to be good enough to run, especially when you get into high foliage situations. So we're going to have to tweak some things here. So I'm going to keep everything on high. I'm going to turn down ray tracing to high. And I'm going to turn down level of detail to high and texture quality on high. So everything's going to be on high. I'm going to keep this space contact shadows on high. Depth of field is going to stay the same. So that's all we're doing is turning everything down to high and keeping ray trace shadows on high. We're going to keep the 16 times anisotropic. So let's go ahead and try that. And again, this is on 1080p, so let's see if we can get better frame rates in that forest area with everything on high. Oh, whoa. My camera just drooped. Okay, so we're in the 40s here. Everything looks really good. Smooth. Oh, we hit 50 there. So that's nice. So that's a kind of a good sign. Now I'm just testing out ray tracing on the GTX cards. If you don't know what ray tracing is, then go on the NVIDIA website and read up all about it. Real-time ray tracing, which is basically how light works in the real world. So, whoa, what was it? What's going on here? Why am I dying? That was really strange. Alrighty then. Content is currently installing. Alrighty, that was really weird, man. She died in the middle of a benchmark. That's pretty whacked. So now the game is frozen. That is crazy. All right, let me shut off. It won't let me shut it off. Whoops. Huh. Content is currently installing. Sorry about this. Technical error. It won't even let me get up the task manager. I hate when that happens. All right, so how do we kill this? Exit out of Steam. That's funny that it's updating. I can't even kill Steam. I guess I gotta log out and log back in. Sign out. Sorry. Nah, it's just, I don't know, it went to install content, which is kind of stupid. Why you're running a benchmark? I never had that happen before. Okay. So I just have to wait for Steam to start in offline mode. I don't know if it's going to show any information here. Breaking news: Lara dies in middle of benchmark. All right, let's run it again. Maybe I should change my settings and tell it to not update. Although, let me turn this away for a second so you guys don't see. You can look at my pretty face. All right, downloads. I guess since I'm offline, it's not going to let me change anything. Downloads. Here we go. I think I got to go to the actual game and say, don't keep this game up to date. That was really strange, man. Updates. It won't tell me. I guess I can't change it because I have my cloud gaming turned on. Shut the door, please. No. Out. Go upstairs. All right. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess hopefully that won't happen again. All right, so let's get back to something more interesting than my face. I don't think I'm going to be gaming later, Tom, if that's what you're asking. I'm probably just going to get this done and call it a night. Okay, come on now. Jesus, camera's just not being my friend. Okay, let's get back in here again. Hopefully it saved those settings. So we're at 1080p, VSync. Oh, no, VSync wasn't on. Sorry about that. So we're at, everything's on high, ray tracing high, and then everything's on high. And we're trying to run it that way. So let's go ahead and start it and hope we don't have that weirdness happen again. Okay. No problemo. You should try this out, Tom, if you have a video card that can support it. Okay, 39 frames per second. Everything looks good. The shadows on the dance floor are rendering properly. The sparklies are going good. Yeah, I don't usually play on Friday night, Tom. See, the thing with those sparklies is it to me it should be rendering a little better. You know, as far as like the I guess the brightness aura, the glow, I guess. I mean, if anything changes, I'll let you know. So here, if she doesn't die again, eh, 23 frames per second. It's a little smoother than before, though, for some reason. Still kind of on the low 20s, though. I mean, I don't really know what else we can compromise rather than being at high. But the 1080 is definitely running better than the GTX 1070. No doubt about that. The reason why I'm running the benchmark over and over, Tom, is because I'm changing the graphics settings to see what kind of frames we can get at each level. Because with ray tracing, you're doing a lot of real time lighting effects, and you kind of have to like figure out, the sweet spot, so to speak. And in case anybody's interested, whatever. I'm sure people can do this on their own, but and people that don't have ray tracing, you know, cards with it, then they can see if maybe they want to try to go ahead and buy an old GTX card or something like that. I mean, personally, I would probably go for a 1660 Ti, um, or like a 1080, or maybe a 1080 or 1080 Ti. I don't think you can get them cheaper than a 1660 Ti though. So we made 45 frames per second, so that's pretty good, with a minimum of only 20. So that's not bad, actually. Um, so what can we change here to get that forest better? Turn down the anisotropic. I don't think that's really going to change much. Level of detail, maybe. Turn that down to normal. Texture quality, normal. It's kind of hard to tell what's changing. I don't really see the background picture changing a whole lot. So I guess we can go ray trace high, texture quality normal, level of detail normal. We can try that. So let's go ahead and do that. Run the benchmark one more time. And then we'll see how we can run it at 1440. I'm guessing with the GTX 1080 at 1440, it's going to perform better than the 1070. That's just my guess. So it's running very smooth here. Pretty consistent. it looks like. We're hitting 50 there. So that's a good sign. But let's check the forest. I just think that's going to be the killer every time. Come on. Stay at 24. It's a little better. I'm going to go ahead and keep this setting in term VSync on and see if we can get some smooth frame rates. So that's probably the ideal spot there if you want some kind of graphic fidelity to stay. Yeah, she didn't die this time. That was pretty funny. She died in the jungle. Poor, poor Lara. I remember in Rise of the Tomb Raider, I missed the jump a couple times and she fell on some pretty nasty spikes. That didn't look very good. She doesn't exactly look her best when she's got 15 spikes stuck through her body. Okay, so we are kind of hovering around 30, so that's not bad. This might be a win. And everybody's got to remember that the benchmark is much more brutal than the actual game. When you're in the game, your frame rates are better. I've already proven that from my other videos that I did. Definitely better when you're playing the game. I should have probably done that with the GTX 1070. So I think this was a winner. 47 for an average. Our low again was a minimum of 20, but that was only briefly this time. So let me go ahead and put on VSync. And I don't really know what you can turn down here. I mean, we can turn down this anisotropic maybe. And just see if that helps. So let's go ahead and run the benchmark with 8 times anisotropic and VSync on. And I think this is going to be the sweet spot for the 1080 if you want to keep some kind of graphical fidelity. Because you want the ray tracing to look good too. You don't want that to be like, medium really cuts down on it, so I don't really see a point in using it, except for the 1070, because that's really all you can get. So it looks smooth, looks good. So back to talking about NVIDIA again. I still think that they're doing a good job here. I don't know why everybody is just trashing them. We should be happy with technology, when it's invented, because in the long run we benefit from that. I think the main problem is that people just don't have a lot of money to spend these days, and that's understandable. Okay, so she's dying again. No, don't kill her. Oh God, she died again. Uh, Lara died again, man. Well, at least it's going back to the main menu. Yeah. What the frick is going on here? Uh-oh. Did it crash my computer now? That's not good. Alright, so let's fire this up again. Maybe I should just go online. Since I'm not running both games at the same time anyway. I don't know if it's going to relog in. I don't want to see my information. Maybe the game needs an update or something. I don't know. But poor Lara died twice. Look at Atlas, $14.99. That's pretty bad. They must really be doing horrible. Yakuza 2's coming out. And Call of the Wild. They got some DLC. I think I'm going to grab that. Alright, so let's start this again. Oh, wait. Something's up downloading here. What's downloading? I don't think it's Tomb Raider. All right, here we go. All right, let's play this again. Really? I like Call of the Wild, man. I put it on 4K. Enjoy the scenery. Come on, camera. You know? I enjoyed going in there for an hour or two, running around hunting animals. We should hunt together. Maybe it'll be less boring for you that way. You know? Like I said, I just love games with great graphics. So VSync is going to be on again. Everything looks like it stayed the same. So we have, again, ray trace shadows on high, texture normal, level of detail normal, 8 times anisotropic. So let's run this. Let's see if we can't kill Laura again. Well, it's kind of tough when you're really co-oping in that game. You really have to kind of coordinate with each other so you don't scare the animals. Although, if you have you got to play so you can get skill points. That's probably why it's boring for you. Because, the animals don't run away from you as much when you have your skill points, in there. And you can track animals a lot easier too. So, and I have all the DLC, so you'll be able to check out some of the other maps too. And animals. So we hit 50 here. So again, that's good. The game looks really good. So let's see what we get. No, you don't. You can join the map. If I start a server, you can join my map, I think, can't you? I thought you could. Still getting 24 frames per second here, but if we can keep it steady. It looks nice. It's definitely got some choppiness, but it's not annoying kind of a choppy. It's just there. Probably maybe tolerable in the game. So that this might be doable. I would say this setting's probably going to be the best one. At least for me, I would go with this setting. I mean, we can try to put it on medium and put everything up to ultra and see what it looks like. But again, when you turn the ray trace shadows down, you're taking away some of them. So it's like I don't really see the point in turning it down to medium because you're just really not getting the benefit. Well, I went and bought the what do you call it? The what do they call that? The 2017 or 2018 Call of the Wild pack. I went and bought that when it first came out on super sale, and you get everything. You know what I mean? They gave me all the DLC except for what they just brought out now. So I was like, oh, nice. So it's definitely worth buying that pack. So here it's kind of, I don't know if you can see it, if it's kind of blurry. But it was in the 30s. So we got 47 frames per second. Again, the minimum, it says here 20. So the forest just kills us. So I would say still this is the best spot. I would say this is definitely the sweet spot. Although you could probably turn this anisotropic up because it really didn't change anything. Let's try 1440. Let's try 1440 at the same setting. We'll turn the screen space contact shadows down to normal. 8 times anisotropic. So normal texture, normal detail, tessellation on, screen space reflections on, screen space contact shadows normal, and 1440 with VSync on. Let's go ahead and run that. See if it'll even do it. So everybody's excited for the new Ryzen chips. I'm not that excited. All right, so we're at the low 20s here, so this isn't going to work, obviously. So I think we should just go right down the medium at 1440 and see what the frame rate is. All right, so we're going to do everything on high, turn everything up to the highest. Take off the NVIDIA ambient occlusion. Ray trace shadows we're going to put on medium. Level detail ultra. Screen space contact shadows high. Motion blur and bloom off. So we're doing medium ray trace shadowing. Let's just read that real quick. All right, so here it is here. This option enables ray trace shadows with the RTX and DirectX technology. Medium enables DXR shadows for selected point lights only. High will enable additional spot and directional lights, including the sun, replacing traditional shadow maps. Ultra improves on this by adding translucent shadows and additional rays for higher quality, result in significant performance loss. So, yeah. So medium's really cutting down on it. So it's like, I don't even know if that's worth even doing. I think I would rather go to ultra ray trace at 1440 and turn everything down to normal. And see what happens there. Maybe we should just get a high. Turn texture to normal, level detail normal, screen space normal, and ray trace high. Let's try that. The 1080 might be able to do that. So AMD's releasing their Ryzen chips. I mean, I'm not that excited for them. I mean, I'm waiting for AMD to get past Intel, you know? They're just playing catch up right now. So it's a little rough at 1440. I think we're going to have to go down the medium. Medium, ray tracing, anisotropic 16, texture quality, ultra, level detail, ultra, screen space, high. And let's turn the NVIDIA up because that's supposed to improve on the look of things. So basically everything on ultra except for the ray tracing. So basically the same as a 1070 at 1080p. This will be 1440p for the GTX 1080. Still rough, huh? Wow. Yeah, 1080 is just kind of too much, or 1440p is just too much. So it's up to 40 here. Everything looks pretty good. And VSync is on, remember? I can only imagine what Metro is going to be like. Eeks. I think with Metro, we're just going to start low and work our way up. Yeah, so here, it's not really like using the sunlight to do the shadowing here, so I'm not really exactly sure what they're accomplishing here. I mean, it looks good, but I don't know if it's going to look any different than traditional rasterization. See, when you turn ray tracing on, they should have had like little circles, you know, highlighting where the ray tracing is taking place. That would have been nice to know. Well, the frames per second is definitely increased quite a bit. But again, where is the, you know, noticeable ray tracing effects? Like you can tell the quality here is not as good as in Ultra. Hey, Fire Fist. Well, ray tracing is more than just real-time lighting. It's like how light acts in the real world, kind of. You know, when a light beam hits a surface, it bounces off. The ray tracing calculates where that ray is going to go. You know, what directions it's going to shoot off to, what substances will absorb it so that it terminates. You know, so it gives you a more realistic effect as well as realistic lighting, you know. So here we got 54 frames per second with everything on medium. So, and that's at 1440. I still would like to go to high. Still would like to go to high here. So let's turn this down to normal. We're going to do it again. Ray trace shadowing on high. So let's see if we can survive this. Remember, VSync is on as well. Don't forget to like, guys. I mean, I know this is kind of boring if you're not really like a technical, like a tech enthusiast or somebody who likes this technology. But you know, we made it to a point now where we're actually getting real time effects in games, you know. So things are moving forward. So, you know, it's not 100% smooth. I mean, I think it's tolerable. The forest is going to kill us, though. Like in this forest coming up, Fire Fist, the sunlight that's coming in is hitting all these leaves, or at least wherever they told them to hit, and it's casting a shadow, and it's making like a soft shadow where it's supposed to, rather than, you know, when you have in games where you see a shadow on a person and it's like well defined. In real life, when the sun hits you, you have like a fuzziness around your shadow, especially the further it gets out. So that's what this has to calculate here. And here it's taking a frame dump, you know, because of the amount of, you know, ray tracing that's going on in here. All these leaves, the vines, I mean, it's just a lot of calculation to do. You know, out here it's not really doing as much, so it's the frame rates are good. Well, I don't know about better, but definitely look more vivid, you know. The colors will be richer. But you know, when you're looking outside in real life, I mean, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? All the games do and Photoshops do is just enhance the colors, you know. It's I wouldn't say it's making it look more realistic than real life. It's just enhancing it, you know, to make it more pleasing to the eyes, you know. You're adding an artistic twist to it, you know, basically. Yeah, so this is 1440p, so it's not really able to handle it. So it looks like at 1440, you're gonna have to go down the medium. So this is probably a great setting for 1080. You know, so at 1080p, you could probably do even the level of detail up to high, texture quality high. I think that's where we had it before. You know, and you could probably do all this stuff on high and have ray trace quality high. Maybe even put depth of field up, but I don't know if that really is gonna show off the ray tracing. So let's just run this one last time at 1080p with ray tracing on high, graphics up on high, VSync on. And then maybe I'll go in the game real quick and just see what the difference is. Because this benchmark is really like not accurate. I mean, in a sense, this is more of like if you like your frame rates in the benchmark, then you're probably going to be happy with them in the game. You know, more happy with them in the game. So at 1080p with everything on high, we're at a pretty good frame rate, I think. You know, the forest again, just Jesus. See, they should have had the ray tracing, like just like in this zone. You know what I mean? I guess just in this area here, and then all that stuff. Just I don't think anybody's really going to be looking in the woods. You know, they should just have picked like a focal point. You know, like whenever you turn, that's all that's getting ray traced. But I don't know how that can work. Then you have to code like where you're looking at. So I'm not sure they could do that, but they could just have the pathway ray traced only. And then that will probably help out the frame rates. So far so good. I think this is a winner. Getting good frame rates out here, although there isn't a whole lot of ray tracing going on, I don't think. Plus, when the sunlight hits this stuff, it bounces off into the atmosphere, so it doesn't have to do two bounces. It only has to go boink and then into your screen, your eyes. So here you can see the shadow, right? It was off screen, and you can still see the shadow. That's what ray tracing does, Fire Fist. One of the things. Like, usually when things are off the screen, you don't see the shadow for it anymore. It just disappears. But with here, you're kind of seeing still the ray tracing effect, even when it's off screen. There you go, 45 frames per second. But it says minimum was 19. But I think that's when that forest loads in. It drops like real quick and then comes back up. So 45 frames per second, that's not too bad. Everything's on high at 1080p, ray tracing on. So let me keep this setting. Let me go, let me see here. Let me turn up the texture and level of detail in ultra. And then I'm going to go into the game and see how it runs. Let me see. Uh, let's see, load game. Caves. Should we start at the caves? Let's see. I don't know if there's going to be too much ray tracing going on in there. If it's really, really low, then I'll just turn it down. Okay, so you can't see the frames per second on the screen, unfortunately. Here, I think I can do this, though. This is going to be annoying, so I apologize. But you'll be able to see the frames per second, I think. Oop. Oh, come on, don't do that. Did that last time. Didn't go back to full screen. Whoop, no, not launch. It's already launched. Did it crash? Because I minimized it, I guess. Shoot. Alright, let's start up the game again. It may say it's already running. Okay, good. So you'll be able to see like the frames per second. So I think we were good though. It was at 30 frames per second with VSync on, so that wasn't bad. In the caves. So it's not showing the resolution. Come on. This frame FPS counter is a pain in the neck sometimes. Where the heck am I? Yeah, I should have started it at the other save. Yeah, it's a little choppy. Wonder if we can change the graphics. We can put this down to high. Let's try that and see what happens. Did it change? I don't even know if it changed. Didn't seem like it changed anything. Let's turn VSync off. So we're running at 20 frames per second, so yeah, it's not so great. I like that shadowing now. Let's keep tweaking this thing. What can you change? I don't know. I mean, there's really nothing else you can change. Doesn't seem like it's changing anything now. Okay, that was a little higher. So now it's at 25, but it doesn't look as good. I forgot how to do this. Yeah, see the quality is just goes way down when you're turning down the texture quality and stuff. There really isn't much shadowing going on in here either. So it's a little better here. So when you turn ray tracing off, her shadow there would be more like a straight line. Now, of course, you see some anti-aliasing jaggedness going on there because of the quality settings. You know, the shadow blends in with the rocks much better. I think everything just blends in better. So it says what, 47 average? I wish we were able to stay in this cavern a bit longer. Or whatever, tomb. I don't think you can skip this. No, you can't. Or can you? No, I guess not. Yeah, I don't think there's any ray tracing going on here because it's at 140 frames per second. I don't think so. Now, I don't know if that camera flash back there when she was taking the camera, you could see the light bouncing off kind of on the side of her, behind her. So I don't know if the light was bouncing off the objects, and if that's considered, ray tracing, or if that was just the effect that they threw in there. She kind of walks like Tom Cruise. Let's skip that part. So, again, wish you could zoom in and out. That would be nice. Because you can't really see. Like, you can see her shadow there. See, if you could, like, move around the room, then you could see, like, the shadows kind of off screen and see, like, exactly what's happening there. So, let's see here. See, See, like these people are not casting. I mean, when you get close to them, the shadow appears. You know? Let me see. What's my setting again here? So I got normal texture quality. See, the shadows are supposed to be good there. See, I don't know how this changes. Let's see how that changes level of detail. Actually, the level of detail is on ultra right now, so it didn't really change the frame rate. So I'm getting 50 frames per second right now. So I told you that benchmark is pretty fricked up, man. Now the texture details crap, you know. Let me turn this down to high and turn up the texture quality. Let's see, and then turn up the NVIDIA thing too. Let's go crazy. Okay, so that's good. Look at that. Still good. Look at that. Nice. The kids there, they're going to shoot off the, is that where they shoot off the fireworks? I'm at 43 frames per second here, and that's VSync off. So let's see him shoot it off. So depending on where you're looking, I mean, I'm at 68 frames per second, so that's pretty nice. So I don't know what's going on here, but I mean, it seems like sometimes with the RTX cards, you're not even getting that good. So you're getting the shadow moving around on her chin there. I don't know if that's I'm assuming that's the sparkler. You know, you can see it reflecting off of her mask, I think. So I don't want to go over there because I don't want to trigger it. So we're at, you know, 75 frames per second. I mean, that's pretty amazing. That's why I said when you're in the game, it's different, you know? I don't know why. Maybe because some of the stuff is dumped off on the processor, possibly. That isn't in the benchmark. Maybe the benchmark is working the card more than, you know, anything. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer for you here. So where you can still see the average frames per second there. 81 frames per second. See, all these candles here, they don't even like really make light. That's the one thing I was critical of. I mean, a little bit when you're right up against it. But it should be much brighter, even at a distance. But there's soft shadows there. You can see her shadow is soft. Let's see if we can mix with his. So there's two shadows here, mine and his. Again, I don't know how that compares to the rasterization, but he's got paint on his face, so it's not going to reflect anything. Let's try some of these people here. I don't know if I can get through here or not. Yeah. Now this guy, he's got a mask. but his is not really reflective. Whoa. But you can see that, the colors are reflecting off there. His shirt, the shadows on the shirt. So he's off screen and he's still casting a shadow. You can see something's casting a shadow. I'm assuming it's him. Let me through. Again, she's going in other people's shadows. Hey, dude, what's happening, man? They're just sitting there talking. I wish she could run. This slow walking is like. So here the lighting is scattered properly, I guess. Still not as good as the RTX cards, though. Is this where I came from? Yeah, that's where I came from. So average is 59 out here. So definitely pretty good. Again, I think these lights here should be, I don't know, much brighter. I guess it's too tough, though, to go crazy with the lighting, I suppose. She always turns too much. There we go. So there really isn't a whole lot of light here. You got the blue light. Where's the blue light coming from? Over there, I guess. So that's off her mask. Same with this guy. You can still see the light on her mask. So you got the reflections off camera. Again, I don't know if I'm actually seeing that correctly or whatever, but she's got the blue on her mask there. It's on her clothes. The right color. Even her backpack is shadowing properly. Sort of. So yeah, it's all good, man. So we're doing good, man. This is great. So everything's on high, except for the screen space shadows. I thought I'd put that on high. Let's try that and see if that tanks it. So I'm kind of turning everything up little by little so we can get shadow quality better. It should be better now. Even on her bag, it should be a little bit different. Let's get further away there. Yeah, they look better, a little better quality. And casting, pretty good. So yeah, so we're good. We're at high. 1080p. Potatoes. Can I have some potatoes, please? So everything's on high. Wonder if we should go ahead and put on 1440. Wow, that's going to kill it. Okay. Interesting. Still about the same frame rate. A little bit lower. Upper 30s now. But I'm at 1440p with everything on high. So, I mean, if you can tolerate 40 frames per second, so we're dropping a little bit there. The lighting might be actually accurate. Yeah, it must be rendering the ray tracing at that in those spots where the frames go down. I don't know if you can I skip this? No, I guess not. I'm gonna hurry up through this next section here because I don't think the lighting is at all proper in this place. I mean, unless they changed it with an update. Because see, I'm in front of these candles here and there's like no shadow. See? They're just fake. But over here, like those lights here, I guess are the lightings that they put in there. So it's just I don't like that. It's just kind of the shadows should be in both directions. I don't know why they did that there. But I don't like it. So I'm just skipping that spot. All this too, most of these lights are just kind of there, but they're not really doing a whole lot. I guess there's a light here apparently. I guess. Yeah, Laura's got a light there, a shadow there. And then here, I think is a light. So this is pretty nice. Blends in pretty good with the fence. All right, so we're going to move on to the next area here. So that kid, there's nice light there. See, I wish they would have kept him out here because that would have showed the. See, the fireworks too are another thing that I was kind of complaining about before. They don't really. I mean, when they blow up, it should look like daytime down here. You know, everything should just cast shadows, instantly. But again, they don't do that. It's just like it glows kind of up there, and then like to a certain extent, but not realistic. I mean, that right there would have really made the game look really nice. Even though you're only in this section for a short time, that firework glow. I mean, even in real life, when you're out in the dark and the fireworks blow up, it's like wow. So it would have just been kind of like a wow moment that they kind of just totally missed. See, like the fog glows and the trees glow, but it doesn't reach down here. And again, there's no shadows from these candles here, only from these area lights that they stuck in here. So again, that's another spot that they kind of like, that's highly noticeable. I mean, only because of the amount of lights that are here, you know? It's just crazy. But we're getting 50 frames per second here at 1440, so that's pretty good. During the cutscene, it went down now, probably because it's close to her face. So let's see if the lights go up here. I think the candles kind of reflect, just not too bright though. I mean, it's, but here she doesn't even have a shadow there. I think right here that might be a light, or maybe not. See, like the fireworks should like reflect off of her mask, and they don't. See, that's another thing that they missed. That would have really added the realism into the game. Because that's stuff that you remember, you know. Whenever you go see fireworks, you remember those fireworks flashing. It seems kind of trivial, I guess, but not to me. Okay, so here it's dumped down to 36. I'm assuming because of the spotlight up there, casting shadows on everything. Because again, these candles, they don't really look like they're doing a whole lot. I mean, it's glowing when I walk right up to it, I guess. Maybe this, let's try that. No, see, it's not really. See, I'm not even sure what's glowing on her face there. Probably this. Yeah, that is. Let's see her. Yeah, but this candle's not. So I'm not totally sure why they did all that. And over here, like he's not casting really a shadow. It's a very faint one, but it's not showing up here. You know? He should have a shadow, but there's no shadow, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Looks like this one is actually casting something. But it's just not very intense. So frame rate's dropping here, I guess because of the texture detail. The rocks, they look realistic. And then here, this light's probably casting a lot of real shadows here. Hey, dude. 30, 28 frames per second, depending on which way you're looking. So you can see her shadows are softer, see? They're dissipating. Although I don't think they should be that soft there, but who knows. Yeah, so it's tanking here a little bit because of the lighting. And maybe even these vines here are casting shadows. All these are casting shadows, so that all might be real time. See, because when I look away, the frame rates go up higher. And over here, you can see the moonlight kind of glowing off the pots up here, the rocks over here, the bag, whatever this is here, trash bag, the can, the window, the metal on the window. And then off the ledge here, where's the moon? You can't see the moon. So I think what's happening here is that the ledge up here is catching the moonlight and it's reflecting it over here. I think. I don't know if that's rasterized or not. But you can see the glow here. I'm assuming the moon is, this is the main reflection here of the moon off this concrete. So that's probably real-time ray tracing. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the Metro. I guess we'll just make this a Shadow of the Tomb Raider run. I'll do the Metro later. So here we should take dump in frames. Maybe. Although I don't know. So you have her shadow on the spotlight here. So it looks like it's casting, I guess, in the right length. But like right here, there's no... See, I'm trying to figure out here how this is working. I guess because of the obstruction from the boxes, she's only casting a shadow, where it's hitting her. So you can see her backpack here. Inside the crack there. And then this one over here on the wall. Not so sure about this. The bucket's got the shadow from the other spotlight over there. This light I don't think is really doing anything there. And then you got a shadow from this light. But that back, yeah. So, I mean, that's all normal, I know. It's kind of hard to appreciate, I guess, what's happening there because you're used to seeing that sort of. But again, here, I think we should have two shadows again. I think from the spotlight over there should be a faint one going in that direction, but I don't know for sure. But the frame rates are good here. We're at 1440, V-Sync's off. Everything's on high. So it's actually running much better than expected. And the temperature of the GPU, though, is at 74 degrees. So, that's not terrible. These cards can handle it. The RAM is at 9.9 gigs and the VRAM's at 5.8. Boost is at 1911. Temperature 74. The GPU is running at 100% though, and it is it's warm. It's working. So let's see how the fire stacks here. Let's see if we kill it here. It's probably going to take a major dump here. If it's really bad here, then I will. I'll turn it back to 1080p. I mean, you kind of could do that while you're playing the game. Turn the resolution, way up in the areas that have good frame rates, and then turn it down again to a, the next level down. So that you can appreciate some good frame rates. Okay, so here we're at 15 frames per second. But as you can see, you can still kind of function. It's probably going to be worse if I zoom in on my bow here. No, that's not too bad, actually. So yeah, it's pretty choppy. Definitely kind of annoying on the eyes. So let's change it to 1080 here. We're going to keep everything at high. Hopefully it'll work. All right, so we got some frames back here. So we went from 15 to 25. So just changing it to 1080p. We got definitely a better experience. I mean, you can definitely play like this. So, you get to keep your shadows in the forest area. It's not as crisp because the level of detail is lower, but here you got the hue, on her. I mean, I'm sure that's probably not much different just in rasterization. What I like to look at is like that red light, like, is it bouncing backwards, like the moonlight was, I'm not sure if they actually have that here in effect as much. I think it's just kind of like just shooting out red light, it's not really as fancy as we want it to be. So again, this is one of those areas where there's a lot of foliage. It's probably not going to be as bad as that area back there, but still, hovering in the upper 20s here. So it's definitely playable, for sure. I mean, there's really nothing here except for, I mean, I don't know if there's a hidden area here or not. Stuff to pick up. But, 1080p, it's definitely playable, And I don't know if you have to restart it if you put VSync on. I think you do. Let me see if I can turn VSync on while I'm in the game. I don't know if you can or not. Let's see. Can you turn it on? So, I mean, it's not really changing it much. It's not making it any smoother. In fact, it's probably making it a little worse in this case. So let's take VSync off. Yeah, so that would be my recommendation. Just when you're like in open areas or like courtyards and towns and stuff. And the caves were not really that bad either. Just turn it up to 1440 or 4K. You could probably play it somewhat. I don't know about 4K, but 1440 for sure is doable. 1070, I would say. Well, I don't know about that, but it should play better in game. If you test the benchmark or whatever. Maybe it's not. Maybe just go into the game. Maybe I just wasted time going into the benchmark. Now I'm no good at puzzles, so I don't even know if I should bother going to the next section here. So, when you're looking at the foliage, the frame rates drop. When you're turning away from the foliage, the frame rates go up. So, obviously, you got the moonlight here. I'm trying to see, like, there. I don't know why it's not as prominent as it was before. See, the moonlight, it shouldn't really be darker here. But let's see, where do I got to go here? Die? Yay, let me die. I got to go down? Down or up? I forget. I think down. Yep, what's the drop? See. Yeah, I forget. Is this going to blow up on me like usual? Die! I got to go up here. I forgot how to go. Where the heck is it? I don't remember. So we're at 46 frames per second. Oh, repel again. Okay, I forgot what to do here. So again, there isn't really a lot of light here, so I'm not sure exactly why. I mean, right there, I guess some shadows there behind the plants. Now that I'm looking closer. So I guess that's all ray tracing going on. All right, so where am I going here? So I am playing this game. GTX 1070. Oh, Jesus. I never really played this much, so I'm not really that, per se, good at the mechanics here. Repel again. Where am I going here? I got to swing. Whoa. I think I got to do this. Run. Oh, that's scary. Okay. What happened here? What am I missing here? Okay, I feel dumb. Where the heck I gotta go here? I gotta repel? Oh. And I guess I gotta swing again? Nope. Where am I going? Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. So 43 frames per second right here. 33 now. Shrooms. Man, I wish that was clearer, man. That's really sucks. It's not making that clear, you know? Can't believe it. I just don't understand why it doesn't like it. Water. I forgot how this section, what do I have to do here? Oh, I don't have a fire arrow. Forgot how to do this. I feel kind of dumb. So we have some lighting here from the spotlight. And you can see that she's rendering the shadow properly, I guess. The bow and arrow. From above, she's got the lighting here. Kind of a soft shadow. What do I do here? There we go. Whoa. Cut that, boy. Cut that. I got a light. So I'm running at a 98 frames per second. Ooh. I could probably change to 1440p again. Yeah, this is where I'm no good. I am not good with these places. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, so let's turn it up to 1440 in here and see how we do indoors. And everything's on high again. I don't know if I turn this NVIDIA thing down, if that's going to change anything. I'm just going to keep it on now. All right, so we're at 1440 now. And running at 55 frames per second. Of course, there isn't a whole lot of lighting going on in here. Like, I guess the reflection's there on the water. So it's going down a little bit there. Ooh. That card is working. Be prepared for the cards to work. Make sure you got a good cooling solution on your video cards. So I don't know if, like, I'm supposed to go in this water. Look at look at below. The shadowing going on down there. That's pretty neat. And I guess the reflection off the water on my face. Although I'd expect a little bit more of a shimmy. Okay, so there must be something under the water. I saw something here. Let's see. I'm probably going to die. Shall I save it? How do we save? Save game. Let's do it at 0.4. All done. Let me see here. I can't see a thing. Still 63 frames per second. Come on, you can do it. Don't die. Oh, air. Where? Air. Turn around. Whew, there we go. Hey, I want more air. Oh, am I going the right way? Uh-oh. I'm gonna die. Oh man, what happened here? Surprised I made it through. Don't die, please. Come on. Oh, did I just go backwards? I did, didn't I? Awesome. Hey, wet Laura. I think I did just go backwards. Okay, let's try that again. I think I went backwards. I'm not really worried about collecting anything right now. Okay. I do get disoriented. Crap. Now which way did I go now? This is what I did last time, probably. Went backwards again. Oh! Jeez. Is she going up by herself or am I doing that? I guess she's doing it. Come on, up you go. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Don't suffocate. Come on, hurry up. Come on. What's going on with her? I'm pushing E. Go. Why isn't it working? Jesus. Okay, so not bad, man. In my opinion. You know? 1440p, ray tracing turned on, 41 frames per second. I mean, again, there isn't a lot of like reflections in here. There's a shadow there on her and some shadows there on the wall here. So it's dropping here where there's some shadows going on, but it's not, you know, unplayable in 1440. I need an upgraded knife. Not sure why it's dropping here. Maybe because of the flashlight? I don't know. Not sure. Oh! Oh. Sorry, Laura. Oops. Oh, I hope I don't have to start all the way back. Wow, that was crazy. Yeah. So are we going up or down here? Oh, there you have it. I would say that we probably went in, you know, a good enough number of varied areas to get an idea of like what this ray tracing is going to act like. Obviously, we're looking at a big scene here at 1440p, so drop in frame rates anyway. But I think, I know you can't see with that stupid thing in the way, but we are playing at 1440p with texture quality and level detail on high, ray trace quality high, tessellation on, screen space reflections on, contact shadows on high, and then the NVIDIA occlusion. So it's definitely more than enough frame rates to play at a smooth enough frame rate, where I don't think it's going to really mess up your gameplay too much. Just the jungle, you might want to just turn down the resolution. So this took a little longer than I thought. So I'm going to end it here with the, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Hey, why is she turning around? Oh, I guess because they don't want you looking at her face. But yeah, you can do ray tracing with a GTX 1070 and a GTX 1080. I'm not sure about the 1060 yet. I have to try to get my laptop working with it, but for some reason it's not allowing me. So anyway, this is what I'm using again. GTX 1080 Strix Edition and a GTX 1070 Aero Edition. Well, if you hung in this long, thanks for watching. I'll do the Metro video probably tomorrow night or something, because I'm not going to go another 2 hours. I mean, that's a long time. All right, everybody. Peace. Love you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I know my channel's kind of like here, there, and everywhere. It's not consistent. But, if you want to just support the channel, you know where to find the links up in the banner. Just sharing, though, it helps, and liking helps. So no matter what, I like you all. All right. Peace. Have a great weekend. Bye.